Chris Sims, Pro Football Live co-host with Mike Florio, Bleacher Report NFL analyst, and the former NFL quarterback. Hi, Chris.
Hey, what's up, Dan? How you doing, man?
I'm ready to. You always have opinions, but I'm curious what you think of this ESPN list where they were ranking these quarterbacks, but you had comments from scouts and defensive coordinators, coaches on this. Some pretty brutal, some honest comments here about these quarterbacks. Did any of them stand out to you?
Well, I can't say, I'm going to sit here and dissect every comment that I see on here. I think the thing that I look at more than anything, first of all, it's just where I'd argue some of the points here, okay? Like, let's just start there. I look at, like, Tier 1. Tier 1, Rodgers, Brady, no-brainer, right? Like, there's no doubt about it. But where I would push back is, like, 3, 4, and 5. Now, I know where Tier 2 is 5 with Matt Ryan. But where I see Drew Brees at 3, Ben Roethlisberger at 4, Matt Ryan at 5, I would substitute those 3, 4, 5 with Russell Wilson, Matthew Stafford, and Carson Wentz to me. At this point in the career for a Drew Brees or a Ben Roethlisberger, I don't think they're the level of player that a Russell Wilson or a Stafford is. And, of course, Carson Wentz was the MVP of football last year in my eyes if he doesn't get hurt, there in Week 14.
All right, so Brady and Rodgers heads above everybody else, even Brady at his age, which is pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I mean, Brady certainly is a Tier 1 quarterback. Now, I do think there's a significant gap between Aaron Rodgers and everybody else. And I have a love affair with Aaron Rodgers, whatever it may be. But I also think that I try to evaluate these things and try to be as non-biased as possible or unbiased as possible. Aaron Rodgers deserves to be in, like, Tier 0 right now. I mean, we're talking about the greatest gunslinger we've ever seen in the sport, yet he protects the ball better than anybody we've ever seen in the sport. Very horrible offense, like I've always told you about. Aaron Rodgers, the Green Bay Packers, it is all about him and his ability to make magic happen is the only way they can win football games. So that's where I separate them. And then the other one that I don't understand I don't want to say disrespect, but Matthew Stafford at number 7 to me is a little disrespectful at this point of his career. I get sick of hearing the whole, he didn't win, he hasn't won playoff games. Okay, I mean, tell me some players he's had on his team worth a damn other than Calvin Johnson through his career. I mean, Tom Brady in New England isn't doing it all by himself. He's had a lot of Hall of Famers on both sides of the ball to help him, and the greatest coach in the history of all time. So you need some help. Matt Stafford is a guy I look at that go, one of the most physically gifted, best gifted quarterbacks ever to play the game, one of the greatest arms to ever play the game. He is the only reason the Detroit Lions are relevant in this situation. Offensive line play, as you know, has been horrible. I don't think they've had a 100-yard rusher in a football game since 2013, and don't think they've had a 1,000-yard rusher since he's been there. So, we all look at Matthew Stafford and go, they doesn't win a playoff game, or they just missed out on the playoffs. And I want to go, well, those Detroit Lion teams are like 4-12 football teams without Matthew Stafford. He makes them relevant and puts them in the conversation for the playoffs and being a playoff caliber team.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.